Welcome to the Kasoka Show. My name is Isaac Mulwa and I am your host today. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, and also inviting a friend to subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Well, I have been continuing with the discussion of multiple sclerosis. Being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis is a good thing, but having the disease is a bad thing. I've hit down the road to do some research and understand why it's a bad thing and why it is a good thing to be diagnosed. One, let's look at the diagnosis part, why it is a good thing to be diagnosed. Well, it's a good thing because you get to know the state of health at which you are at a particular point in time, and you are able to know how to take care of yourself. And also, multiple sclerosis is not a killer disease. It's not going to take you to your grave, so you're not going to die tomorrow. You have a lot of time to live. Actually, in my research, I have seen someone who has lived for more than 60 years when managing the disease. Multiple sclerosis is a very rare form of condition which catches people, and it mainly originates from the brainstem. Today I want to talk about the cause of the condition. That is, in my case, or not even in my case, in most of the cases, it comes as a result of demyelination, whereby the covering of your nerve axon is usually not regenerating itself. It is usually not forming back, and therefore communication becomes something quite challenging. But I would advise you to skip the medical jargon, because I am not a doctor personally. I am an accountant, and I'll just interpret it direct to you. Well, demyelination is a situation where there is a failure of formation of the myelin sheath in a nerve. Well, myelin sheath is the covering that covers the nerve, and it is the one which is responsible for conveying information from the nerve, the top of the nerve, to the bottom. Well, in a layman's language, a nerve is like a human being, just like a body. It has a head, it has an axon, and then it has a tail. So myelin sheath is usually in the axon. The axon is the body. So if the myelin sheath is not regenerating, it means that the information conveying becomes quite hard. Therefore, it becomes quite impossible for information to flow down to your limbs, or when information is traveling through a nerve, it jumps from one myelin to the next one, therefore making it quite easier for it to move from one place to another. However, in this situation, myelin sheath is not regenerating, so it means that the information flow has to go through the stem of the nerve, and unfortunately it is quite slower for information to travel through the stem rather than the myelin, because what happens is, during traveling of information, it jumps from one myelin to another. I'll give you a classical example of two people who are running. One person is jumping at a high speed, and another person is running on a straight line. It goes without saying, the person who is running while jumping will get to the destination faster than the person who is running on a straight line. So in that situation, information conveyance from the brain, that is the central nervous system, becomes a problem, and we are not able to convey this message effectively or efficiently. Ever since I was diagnosed with MS, I have come to learn a lot of things. First and foremost, here in Kenya, there's an association called MS Association Kenya. I learned it through a friend, who knew a person, or rather a friend in the association. So I can say I am not alone. We are so many, and I am receiving the necessary support that I require for management of this condition. Well, this information which I am passing regarding knowledge of this disease is basically from a school called Google. It is from Google University, I have researched a lot. Also, YouTube University has played a critical role in me understanding this thing, because I have watched many YouTube videos. I have gone through Google to get information regarding MS. I've seen in the US, MS was discovered way back, or rather MS has been managed from way back in the 1960s. That is before even Kenya got independence. But now in Kenya, it is the 21st century, and it is the time when most of the people are being diagnosed with this disease. Well, I'm not saying anything bad, but I think our leaders should prioritize whatever they are doing. Multiple sclerosis is a very rare condition, and therefore it can get you at any point of time. And I advise that whenever it comes to you, it is not a death sentence. You should take care. You should always be vigilant, and you should always ask questions with your doctor. If you are developing new symptoms, if you are developing new traits, you should always get a point of asking your doctor, can you please explain to me what you're doing right now? After a lot of research, and after a lot of consultations, and also after a lot of guidance on what I should be doing, I have been able to gather information one piece and another, and now I am able to know that there are some foods which I should not eat. For example, anything which is a daily product, cut it off your diet if you are managing MS. Anything which has cow meat in it, cut it also off in your diet if you are managing MS, so that you can live a more peaceful life. But I have come to learn also that cereals are an integral part in the management of this condition. You can have cereals morning, evening, and lunchtime without getting bored with them. The medication which is usually given for MS is usually medication to lower your immune, because basically MS is immune fighting itself. Your immunity, it is your immunity fighting itself. So it means that the medication which you are getting is trying to lower down your immune, is trying to calm down your immune, so that you can become less responsive to these attacks. I am planning to hold the discussions with neurologists in Kenya, so that they can give us an enlightenment of what this thing is, because I think, rather in my own view, I think I need to understand more and more, so that I can be able to know how I'll manage myself. Honestly, if it was not for one of the neurologists who I met in this world, maybe I could be in a more worse position, but he rescued whatever I was feeling, and right now I am okay. Well, I cannot say that I am okay 100%, because unfortunately I still have 2 more weeks to take my medication. After completing the medication which I have, I will be going to the hospital again, but this time around I think it is not for admission. I'll only be attending a clinic to find out how I am doing, or rather to find out how I am faring on. This clinic is the one which will determine whether I'll be put under the medication again, or the first dose was enough. But one thing I know is after some time, there's a drug called prednisolone that I should never lack. In this journey, I know MS is a terrifying disease, but one thing I am 100% sure of is that anybody can overcome, anybody can run with it, anybody can move to a better position, even if you are managing MS. I've seen people who are managing MS and they are at a very good position in life, and they can do better things even than the people who are not managing MS. So one thing I have noted with MS is that after diagnosis, there is a lot of denial. There is denial from the family. The family is telling you get a second opinion. But one thing I would like to advise the families is that before someone gets an opinion from a doctor, maybe most of the chances MS is a disease which is got through elimination. So before someone gets such a diagnosis, chances are very high that they have seen various doctors. Maybe they never told you, but the point is they might have seen various doctors. So you just bear with them. When they tell you it is MS, they have been told it's MS, you just agree with them, because MS actually, how can you diagnose an MRI? And MRIs have reports, so you cannot misdiagnose using an MRI. If it was just a normal CT scan, I think it is possible to misdiagnose, but an MRI is something which you cannot misdiagnose. I have also noted in Kenya that there is a lack of information regarding multiple sclerosis. So I think it is wise for the government, through National Hospital Insurance Fund, that is NHIF, or rather the insurance companies, to sensitize the public about the need for testing or rather screening for this condition, because it can take someone to the bed, or rather it can make you in one way or the other disabled. But there is something I was thinking. Those guys in the Bible, the lepers, maybe they had a mess and we didn't know, or rather back then they didn't know. They were healed by Jesus. Of course, Jesus is a healer and he is the one who healed them. So maybe they had a mess and they never knew whether they had a mess or not. In general, this channel will be highlighting issues. It will just be giving updates on how I am doing. It will also be giving updates on what I have done. It will also be giving updates on what I think needs to be done. Because in this day and age, I think information is power. The world is a global village. That's why today I'm able to get into a meeting with people in the United States of America. And we have a very good meeting. I'm able to hold meetings with people at South Africa. And we have very successful meetings because everything is online. We have so many platforms. Well, let me send this as a disclaimer. I am not a medical practitioner. I am an accountant by profession, but I am someone who is managing MS. So it is part of my responsibility to research on MS and understand what is happening. So as I continue giving this information, maybe it is based on what I am feeling, it is based on what I am seeing, it is based on what I have gone through. All in all, in this channel, please subscribe, like and share. Subscribe, like and share. Click on the notification bell. Multiple sclerosis is a rare form of neurological disorder which basically affects the way we function normally. Some of the visible effects which we come to see in multiple sclerosis are as follows, and one of them is staggering while walking, inability to fathom or rather to handle complex computations, sexual dysfunction, inability to control your bladders, that is your urinary bladder, and also the sphincters at the rear, at the end of the digestive system. Researchers have attributed this to a viral disease. As I promised earlier on, I will be able to share any information that I get regarding multiple sclerosis, because I want in as many as possible people to learn from me. Invite someone to subscribe to this channel